Introducing
bantamweight
his
champion
opponent,
Jeff
standing
Joy
across
coming over
from
telling
him
us who
in the
his pick
blue
is.
corner, with the professional record of 18 victories and 12 defeats. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall, and he weighed in at 136 pounds. From Plymouth, Massachusetts, and representing South Shore Sport Fighting, let's hear it for Johnny Cupcakes Campbell!
Johnny's got to move here. He's stretching him out now.
And
they stopped it. Took too many shots.
After being knocked down twice, too many shots in the follow-up.
All right, what's going on, guys? We got Johnny Cupcakes Campbell here with us today. He's fighting at Bellator 258. We're excited to watch it. We're definitely going to be tuning in for all of the fights. I mean, that should be our first question, man. What inspired you for the nickname Cupcakes?
So that kind of just came about. I just kind of like attracted it in. So my gym is notorious for having kind of like strange off meta nicknames. So that's what they came up with. There's a t-shirt company that originated locally, Johnny Cupcakes. And so somebody was like, everybody called me Johnny at the time. Somebody just said, "Hey, Cupcakes." And before I knew it, it was like I was walking out for my first fight that I took on like 6 days notice and had no idea. And they announced me as Johnny Cupcakes Campbell over a loudspeaker. So like I'm walking out, like doing my best Chuck Liddell impression at the time. And then like Cupcakes came over. And like the longer that I have it, the more people really love it. And I've kind of like grown into just, man, that's just my name. People just call me Cupcakes now. So I dig it. It's kind of like, it's to the point now though, it's like almost like an alter ego. I don't want people to think that like I worship the devil or that I sold my soul or anything, because I didn't. I'm doing it the hard way. But it's like my Slim Shady at this point. Like when I was growing up, I listened to Eminem like quite a bit. He like really, I don't know, inspired, I guess, in a lot of ways, me, especially his early albums. And Cupcakes is like my ability to be the person or the thing, that like serial killer that everybody kind of has deep down inside of them, that most people shut off like 99 or 100% of the day. And when I'm in the cage, I get to kind of unleash that part of me. And Cupcakes is like a perfect packaging for it. It's like, it seems sweet and funny and innocent. And like, but what you don't know is that I'm trying to assassinate the person that I'm fighting.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. That's a funny story.
All right. I mean, I got to ask. I watched the last fight. I got to ask, how's the year? Is it back to 100%?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I understand that scar tissue is only like 70 or 70%, 77, 75% of like regular tissue strength. So technically, that part of my ear is probably at like 70%, but that's all right. If you watch my career, that was like one of the few times that I actually got hit. So it was just like not enough sparring at the time, coming out of the pandemic and going to Brazil on like fucking 2 weeks notice and flying over there for like basically 24 hours worth of flights, and then cutting weight in a whorehouse basically and making weight, and then getting in a fight. And it's just like weird, you know, the universe is just like a wonderful, hilarious sometimes story. So like coming back from an injury like that ear is going to be what kind of makes me. If you look back, if you watch like my YouTubes, I got a couple of injuries that I've like fought through and had, and perseverance and adversity is a huge part of life, and I'm just living it like on TV, so people get to watch some of it live, and I'm glad that it's created like this following that I have, and I intend on going down as one of the best of all time. So from here, it's just like knocking off these big guys like Henry Corrales.
So what was that recovery process like? Because, you know, we saw, unfortunately, at the last UFC event, Chris Weidman shattered his leg, and that was that was brutal to watch. But that's like an injury that, it affected his mobility. It affected a lot of things. But yours is a bit different because, as most people know, ears don't have a lot to do with fighting. But what was that recovery process like, and how did that limit your training?
So, I mean, I had to pretty much relax for a little while, so it was good in some ways. But it was just about throwing some headgear on. Once like the swelling went down, stitches came out. I am blessed to have a friend, I guess at this point, Dr. Belinas, who is like a plastic surgeon who works along with the MMA community in Massachusetts, and he pumped some like stem cells in that bitch. So I mean, it's like a fucking super ear at this point. And yeah, just chilling and relaxing. Then headgear once I started rolling, and after about a month or 2 months of headgear, I was going to do a tournament, and I was like, man, I really cannot realistically go as hard as I can and wear headgear. It's just going to come off anyway. So I just like cast the headgear aside, and I've been going headgearless for like however many months now, and it feels like pretty darn perfect. So yeah, once everything healed up pretty good, it was just like almost back to normal.
Were you at all surprised that you got the call to Bellator after, which was technically a loss?
Yes and no. So it's like there aren't a lot of people asking to fight Henry Corrales. So when that name came up and I said yes, there was probably like maybe 5 people that were up for that. And so I'm still number 1 in the Northeast. I think I'm ranked number 5 in the United States. I'm still 4 out of my last 5, all wins, finishes, first round, second round, third round. So yeah, it's just that's what it's all about, like, yeah, it would be so wonderful to be perfect and to have 0 losses, but to be straight up, it's like, man, those 13 losses just built so much experience under me that I have that is so much greater than what most people have. And yeah, it's just it's like getting this call is more just a sign that I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm here for a reason. And when I land punches and things on Henry Corrales, people around the world are going to know that I'm meant to be here and that I could be fighting for that title soon.
Right. So just to follow up on that, this is your Bellator debut. Bellator is one of the highest looked upon promotions of all time. You were previously fighting at Cage Titans, which is a bit of a smaller promotion. So how's the transition been? Like, what's it been like at such a big name like Bellator?
I mean, it's super, super similar. Tora down in Brazil, they were super, super professional. And even Cage Titans is, the owner, Mike Polver, a personal friend. He is just a baller, and he just goes out to these UFC shows, and he literally walks around the UFC shows, and he has people that he's out there with fighting and things. So he sees all the backstage, he makes Cage Titans feel like it's a full-blown UFC. It's almost bizarre because people come from out of town and they're like, holy shit, like this is so much more than what we expect. So, I mean, it almost feels pretty natural. I fought for some relatively higher level promotions before, like coming up. I've been on so many winning streaks and then not, and then winning streaks and then not, that I've like touched on some higher ones. So it feels super natural. I love it. I mean, I'm in quarantine right now, but it almost feels better because, for a UFC fight, Bellator fight, oftentimes you're away from home, you're in a hotel room, you're kind of like living like this. So it's like, it all just feels perfectly natural. And, at the end of the day, it'll just be a cage that I'm fighting in against a man. So it doesn't matter where it is. I'm just happy to be doing it.
As of right now, according to most sports books, you are the biggest underdog on the whole card. Do you
dude,
do you embrace that
small
underdog
fortune.
mentality?
Dude, I love it. I said before I left to like a client that I train, I'm going to make some people a small fucking fortune that night, because I can only imagine it is probably laughable, actually, how foolishly like skewed that it probably is. I haven't even looked, but I bet it's big. So dude, I have 2 hands that have downed many a man. If you Vegas, of course they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm 12 and 13. They're like, shit, easy money. They're crazy. They're crazy. The way that I'm going to fight Henry Corrales, there is no way that that you can't put money on me. I'm gonna go out there and stay moving. I'm gonna attack off angles. I'm gonna mix in takedowns. This man has not made 135 in 7 years. 7 years. We're fighting on what, May 7th? That sounds pretty perfect. 7-7. He is gonna be sucked out. I'm gonna hit him. The last, I think, 4 or 5 men that I've hit on the face have fallen down. There's almost no chance that he can take shots from me. And like the difference between me or an Aaron Pico or something is that when I hit you and I hurt you, I swarm you and I don't stop. If you watch my finish over Chris Motino, it's like I hurt him and then I don't stop him for like another minute and a half. I just pound his head like a drum for about a minute and a half. And I have gas to do that no matter what it is, because fighting is what I've bred my body to do. And for 15 minutes to ask me to do that for like tens of thousands of dollars, it's like orgasmic.
So you said that your goal is to become the greatest of all time. So obviously, in order to do that, you got to get a couple. Yeah, you got to get a couple big titles. So when you beat Henry Corrales, are you looking to fight some higher ranked guys and eventually on the path to that Bellator championship?
100%. I think that Henry Corrales puts me right on a beautiful pedestal for me to yell at the top of my lungs out at everyone and say, that's what I want. I don't even know if they have a title holder at this very moment. There's a guy out there, Magomed Magomedov, who's going to most likely have it very, very soon. So, yeah, I'm looking to fight for and towards that title 100%. It says right in my contract that winning puts me up for another fight with them for more money, which is nice. So yeah, whole hog, that's what I'm in for. Yeah, I'd love to wrestle Putin. So if I beaten Magomed Magomedov, I think that I might get an invitation and scrap with Putin a little bit.
Is there any specific name you'd be looking for if you get this win?
Like specifically, I'd have to take a look at some of the guys. I mean, there's an endless list, I'm sure, of gentlemen. So there's some guys around this area that I wouldn't mind dragging in to the Bellator cage and smashing, like a Jay Perrin. I'd love to just, vindicate that loss and put a hurting on him. So he's out in Vegas now, so it'd be a little, much for him to get his ass over here. But I'm sure that if I do what I expect to do on Friday night, that Bellator will be willing to oblige. So pretty much anybody, but I know people hate when people say that. So, but yeah, I got my eyes on the title. So I'm 34 years old and I feel like I have whatever it is, 20 more fights left in me. And I intend on going down as one of the best, but one of the most entertaining of all time. So whoever that puts me up against, let's do it.
Earlier on the show, we had Rafael Stotts. He's the 4th ranked bantamweight in Bellator right now. And we asked him if he would like fans back. We also asked Daniel Madrid, who's fighting on the card as well. They both had different answers. Rafael was looking forward to fans, and Daniel said the fans weren't really necessary. I was wondering what you thought about having fans back.
Both are great. Having fans back, that's the way it's supposed to be. I love it. I did a combat grappling match last month with like 60 people in there, and it was lit. I was slapping dude, and just the 60 people yelling and oohing and ahhing and stuff. It's like electrifying. So having fans is great. But it's not weird without fans. I don't know exactly why, but there's something like very much normal. When I first started fighting, there would be only like fucking 200 people maybe in the crowd watching. So yeah, I guess it's just normal. Both ways is great. I just want to be able to get my hands on that man, and I love the fact that the audience of Bellator will be able to see that, because it just has a greater reach than maybe I've ever had before. So huge opportunity.
So something else we've been asking everyone that we've had on today is, there's been slight talks about maybe a Bellator versus UFC cross promotion battle. Some Bellator guys have been calling out UFC guys and vice versa. If that were to happen, is there any particular UFC fighter that you want to be matched up against?
Oh my gosh, put me against Cody Garbrandt tomorrow. I'd love that. TJ Dillashaw, maybe too. Fuck, are you kidding me? There's some good ass fights over there. I've been looking, obviously watching the UFC for like decades, and as far as like 135ers go, Sanhagen's kind of a nasty motherfucker. Obviously Peter Yan's a beast as well. So, there's some huge, tough fights over there, but I put myself against anybody and I would fuck Cody Garbrandt up. I tell you that. I would fuck that man up so bad. So, yeah.
Cody you talk about wanting to be one of the most entertaining fighters of all time. You versus Cody Garbrandt, that would be a firefight. I believe he does train with Henry Corrales a little bit too. Is that a bit of the inspiration on why you want to fight him?
Perfect. Actually, there's another fellow, Higo, right? I think he is, who fights out with Corrales, who I was supposed to fight. So, he's a Bellator guy, but there's a bantamweight that I'd love to fight and be able to actually fight. But yeah, I think that Cody Garbrandt, that'd be sweet. Maybe I'll call him out a little bit after I punch the shit out of Corrales, because I would love to punch Cody Garbrandt right in his throat tattoo.
That would be awesome, man. That would be a great fight. Nathan?
Yeah, we've been asking other people as well. They both said no to this question, but I'm curious what you would say. The question is, would you want to be in the UFC? Is that a goal for you at all? Is that something that you aspire to end up in the UFC, or are you happy in Bellator? You're just happy fighting?
Yeah, I am happy fighting and happy right with Bellator right now, but fuck. It would be hard not to. If somebody dropped out of that, say I smash Henry Corrales in a way that Dana White gets, tickled, and he hits me up for the Ultimate Fighter, they have a dropout, like, sign me up 100%. I think it'd be silly to close opportunities and doors on things that you're just thinking about anyway. So absolutely. The UFC, it's the premier promotion, so to fight for them would be tremendous. But I'm gonna do my thing as far as building a legacy, and right now it's with Bellator, and they are tremendous, and they put on a high caliber show, so I'm happy for that.
Great, man. Well, we're probably gonna wrap it up right about now, but one last question. You've been talking quite a bit on how exciting you expect your performance against Henry Corrales to be. Do you have an official prediction for us?
TKO, most likely. Second round, more than not. Whether on the feet into the ground or just on the ground in general. I just intend on hitting his head until his brain can no longer formulate ideas and plans and things, and at that point the referee will probably be stopping it. So he's an excellent fighter, and I intend on seeing the best Henry Corrales out there, so I'm going to be bringing my A game, and I'm happy to do it too. Super blessed.
That's awesome, man. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. We're super excited for your fight. Johnny Cupcakes Campbell, everybody, UFC or Bellator 258. My apologies. We're super excited, man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it very much.